they'd literally be able to block websites and content of their choosing and be able to slow data speeds at their own discretion legally. Speaking of Comcast, check out this article that came out just yesterday on November 29th. It says Comcast deleted its net neutrality pledge on the same day the FCC announced its plan to repeal the open web. And check this out, guys. It says here, it barely took a day for Comcast to rid itself of its albatross of a net neutrality pledge after the FCC announced its plan to reveal net neutrality rules back in April. And what Comcast actually did is they literally changed their promises about net neutrality. You can see here, right before April 26th, it says net neutrality. Comcast is committed to an open internet with a lot of different promises underneath. And then as of April 27th, it changed, and you can see it says net neutrality. Comcast is committed to an open internet, but hardly as much written underneath, and many of that verbiage changing. This tweet says Comcast flushed its 3-year-old net neutrality promise down the memory hole the instant the FCC announced its plan to allow network discrimination. According to a Comcast spokesperson, they said they have, quote, no plans to integrate internet fast lanes. But that means very little in the grand scheme of things, as no plans in corporate speak is not a definitive no. So it looks like Comcast, you guys, is just waiting. They're waiting to be able to have their hands at any kind of manipulation they can on the open internet. And while telecom companies are backtracking on their net neutrality stances, we also have a psychological shadow war going on against it as well. Check out this article that came out from Reuters just yesterday on November 29th. It says 57% of net neutrality comments submitted to the FCC appear to be fake. The first sentence goes on to say, more than half of the over 21 million public comments submitted to the FCC about net neutrality this year used temporary or duplicate emails and appeared to include false or misleading info. So it seems to be that there's an army of literal bots and trolls that have been set to confuse and sway public opinion against net neutrality. So there's a serious war going on by the deep state to gain control of the internet, you guys. Because by doing this, they can literally shape the information that the public receives and control our minds. This is pivotal for their agenda. And because of all this going on, I decided to set myself up with a virtual private network, or VPN. VPNs are basically a set of servers that connect you into your ISP, or your internet service provider. Once you have established a connection with your VPN, a process known as tunneling, this acts as your virtual home on the internet. It's as if you moved yourself into a more secure office space without actually having to move at all. This way, if any websites do get blocked for you, the VPN can actually make it look like you're logging in from somewhere else that does allow the websites to be viewed. So then you'll actually get to view all the videos and articles that you want to read that they don't want you looking at. Not only this, but a VPN actually encrypts all the data that you send as well. And I don't know about you, but I'm definitely someone that probably has a target on my back, so I want to keep all of my data safe. I don't even want to mention some of the creepy stories I have about phishing attempts and mysterious logins from people that weren't me into my Facebook and my website. Plus, if you're into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, a VPN can actually help you get around some of the regulations that some states have for crypto. I live in Washington State, where crypto exchanges are heavily regulated. And I actually can't use many exchanges because they literally packed up and left Washington State when many of these regulations against them went through. And in some states, cryptocurrency is downright illegal to buy. With a VPN, you can get around all these problems. With all that being said, I wanted to tell you guys about the VPN company that I recently started using after careful consideration and hook you guys up with a 50% off promo code that you can find in the description below this video. The company that I began using is VirtualShield. It's extremely fast, cheap, and easy to use. I downloaded an extension to use on my laptop. I'm going to be hooking my phone up with it as well. Another cool thing is they don't keep logs of where you go on the internet like many other VPN providers do. And if you're worried about hackers or certain 3-letter agencies getting access to your camera or your microphone, VirtualShield recently came out with their IdentiSafe software that blocks access to these tools, so you don't have to keep putting that piece of tape across your front-facing camera. Our freedom of speech and freedom of information access is under attack, you guys. Soon, the internet we now love might not be the internet that we have. Hook yourself up with a VPN such as VirtualShield like I have to keep you and your family protected. Done.